Is going on? We are back. I do not know why between shows it like resets on StreamYard all my business. It makes no sense. Now, who all has been following the Rebecca Park case? I can see right now, not a lot. Not a lot. Unless you follow the news and then like you catch interviews and news articles and things like that. And that's a-okay, because I can't really say I blame people for that because it is nasty. There's our friend Connie. She goes, I have. Hey, Heathen. Heathen said, hey again, y'all. It is so disgusting, so depraved. Now, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this a little bit because I say there are multiple motives for this nastiness. Multiple motives. Now, I can't exactly delve in to the minds of this special spice of white trash. I just can't. I mean, look at them. Just look at them. I have seen people at the Tulsa State Fair that dress up better than this. Hey, listen, even if you go into jail, please at least shower, okay? You have Richard Fowler, and everybody was fighting over his pogo stick, meaning Kimberly Park, Courtney Bartholomew, Rebecca Park, who, yes, is a victim. She is a murder victim, and so is her unborn son, Richard's offspring, according to them. I did not see that in the probable cause affidavit because they do not have the baby's body. Because there's a lot of rumors saying that the baby was what's the word to say? That the baby, she was impregnated by Brad. Okay. Also, Brad and Richard are known to like to putt from the rough from time to time. We have a lot of sexual deviance in this story. But before we get to all of that, I can't get enough of this. Let's please remember how my cat was manipulated into doing bad things.
All of this bad behavior came from his BFF Chip.
What in the world is that?
Looks like a cat on a tricycle.
He's doing 60?
Dispatch, we are in pursuit of a male orange tabby. Repeat.
What in the world is that?
Looks like a cat on a tricycle.
He's doing 60?
Dispatch, we are in pursuit of a male orange tabby. Repeat.
Hey, Chip and Woods, how are you? Hey, it's not my fault. Sometimes OJ gets on the phone, he does the FaceTime with Chip, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to drop the link because a lot of you have been following this on TikTok, Twitter, all kinds of places, and you've heard a lot of different things. My thing is, besides the probable cause, none of them hold any water. We still do not know where Rebecca's baby is. We still do not know who the father is. We still do not know what the hell Kimberly was thinking. But according to the probable cause affidavit, we do know there was a lot of tat-to-tays going on between Rebecca, Kimberly, and Courtney. Please welcome your neighbor. All right, I'm going to briefly, like in a nutshell, read the probable cause affidavit, okay? Now, there's people that have spent hours reading this. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have made that mistake before. Telling you I have. Trying to read affirmant, section 10, semicolon, B2. I'm not doing all that. I'm just going to tell you in a nutshell before we get to the rest of it. The affidavit in this case lays out in plain detail, plain as day, what really happened to, as we know, pregnant Rebecca Park and her unborn son. There is absolutely no second guessing it because there is evidence and from her body forensic evidence. This is just the court record. So as we know, she was days away from giving birth. This stuff that Kimmy and the rest say that she was in active labor and stuff like that. Listen, I'm sure when they found her body, she was dilated to a point. I guarantee she was, because it's her third child. I'm sure she was. So on November 3rd, she left her home with her biological mom, Courtney. She never returned. On the 25th, her body was discovered in a wooded area. Now, this is not part of the court record. I'm giving my speculation. She had to have been moved. She had to have been moved. She was stabbed 6 times, and they say the injuries also harmed her unborn baby. 2 people were involved in this heinous murder, Bradley and Courtney. Courtney never gave a clear explanation, only a very unclear alibi, and you can hear it right here. I just recorded it from her Facebook.
She gave me my meds at about 8:40. I don't remember a lot, as I just said, but she was there when I went to bed, and she was also there when I woke up the next day. I know that she never goes out and about when I'm sleeping, just because she doesn't like to drive at night.
Isn't that crazy that Courtney knows so much about a girl she didn't raise, and honestly, barely knows. Barely knows. We'll get to that in a little bit because she didn't just reconnect with Rebecca at her 18th birthday along with her sister Kimmy. Jinbug said this is an alibi and has me thinking she knows more too. Well, here goes a tornado alarm. We're not having a tornado. Here, while this goes through, I'll play the alibi again.
She gave me my meds at about 8:40. I don't remember a lot, as I just said, but she was there when I went to bed, and she was also there when I woke up the next day. I know that she never goes out and about when I'm sleeping, just because she doesn't like to drive at night.
Okay, let's go through some of the motives. I had to keep myself muted because a damn tornado warning thing was going off. And again, we're not having a tornado. Okay. They have a lot of different motives, and from their interrogations, the motives kept changing. Okay? Brad and Courtney say they wanted the baby for themselves. Okay. We have heard from other people that know Courtney that she was obsessed with kids. Obsessed. Well, why? Because you haven't taken care of any of yours. And the 14-year-old that you claim only trusts you and you had to get home to check on, and you can't sit in the wheelchair and you need your crutches, what happened to the 14-year-old? What happened to Kimmy's child? What happened to Rebecca's 2 children? What happened to any of the children that were around that were fed to people like Rich, like Fabian, like Brad, probably like Kimmy, and probably like Courtney? I can't speak about Rebecca and what she may or may not have done because, well, she's passed away and she obviously is a victim of this heinous thing. Jinbug said all of them are with their adopted mother. No, I'm not talking about where they're at right now. What happened to them? You can't tell me all these children were not around these RSOs, that they did not hurt these children. That is, I mean, it's disgusting. And everyone in the community knew how nasty these people were. Nasty. Hell, when they came out to search, the whole community was pissed at them. Hell, if I went outside right now to search for an Amazon package, people would be helping me. These people were ready to freaking kill him. I thought that one lady with the flashlight and just freaking pummel her with it. And there's a reason Courtney is obsessed with kids, and it's not her maternal instinct. We'll get to that. All right, so Courtney said the attack was meant as revenge against Rebecca's boyfriend. Well, I don't know why, considering you're with Brad. But the way they planned the attack, and I believe that Rich knew something about this, considering he was sleeping with 3 women in the family at one time. All right, Courtney Googled how to take a baby. Somehow she had scalpels in her possession. The way they're described, I'm going to call them more like an edging knife, because they couldn't be medical grade unless I totally misread. She discussed with Bradley what she intended to do, and then they drove around with Rebecca's, at that time, stabbed body, not dead yet, until she passed away. And still don't know where the baby is. I'm thinking X-Acto knife. X-Acto knife. So when you have all of these sex offenders around you, and you have kids around you, what do you think's going to happen? Let's put it this way. If you got a junkie visiting your house, and you've got a spoon, a lighter, and some crack, what do you think they're going to do? If you drop a compulsive gambler off outside of Caesar's Palace and say, here's $500, what do you think they're going to do? No. Well, this is what was reported, and that's all we can go on.
Followed our reporting on the absolutely horrific killing of a young pregnant woman in Michigan, Rebecca Park. You're really not going to be shocked to learn what the victim's loved ones told police about who did what.
And I understand what I'm saying doesn't jive with what other people, their opinion, and that's fine. You can grab the link. I'm not here to fight with you. I'm just here to have a conversation, just a discussion. I want to know what makes anyone think that all of these registered sex offenders didn't do anything to any of the children around them. They're on the list for a reason. Courtney spoke about a child at home. Rebecca has 2. Kimmy has 1. There's other children that were coming around. So if these pedophiles just changed their ways and never looked at a kid that way again, I stand corrected.
Why? If this case is new to you, just know that Park was 22 years old and 38 weeks long when she disappeared on November 3rd. She was found November 25th in a national forest, stabbed to death, and her baby cut out of her body. Prosecutors say the baby's dead, but we still don't know where it is. Rebecca's birth mother and stepfather.
They said they put it in a cooler, and my understanding is right now a landfill is being searched. Now, another local said they'd already searched the landfill, but I don't know how many landfills are around there. Mirror, Sherry. Mirror, Sherry. Mirror, Lisa Lee. It is crazy. And I'm not going to believe anything about coolers, what happened to the baby, or the paternity of the baby until the baby is found. They can't test the baby's paternity until they have the baby. If you're in this Facebook group, it's actually a page for that county where people said they have known all along it was Brad's baby. I really do not care. unless it is, because that gives another motive. I don't see Courtney caring, considering she was already messing around with Rich. And Rich was also with Kimberly. And Rich was also, as we know, with Rebecca. Who else knows who Rich was with? I mean, really, who would know? But as of right now, the most recent article I can find that can be verified, still haven't found the baby. But I have heard that they're searching the landfill, but they've done that before, according to this local page I'm on.
We're talking about Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew are each charged with first-degree murder among many other charges. They're each being held without bail. We're talking about the family here being responsible, or allegedly responsible. And now we have the probable cause affidavits that are supporting their arrest. And surprise, each is pointing the finger at one another. Police say Courtney told them that Bradley confessed to killing Rebecca the day after her mutilated body was found. Allegedly, Courtney said Bradley claimed to have slit Rebecca's throat. And when she asked what happened to the baby, he said he put it in a cooler and then a trash bag and then threw it in the trash. But then Bradley spoke to police and allegedly said Courtney stabbed Rebecca, ripped out the baby, and threw it away in a cooler. He said Courtney had Rebecca lie down in the woods while she was still alive and cut the baby out of her, supposedly because she wanted it for herself, which obviously raises the question of why she didn't keep it unless it didn't survive. But
another question is, why did she want the baby for herself? Because her and Brad couldn't have a baby together? She was obviously having sex with other men. Who has a fertility issue? We have no answer to that. Was it truly Brad's baby? That would make sense to me why they actually tried to cut the baby out and kill Rebecca, because then they would have a baby between them. Then you have the jealousy factor about Rich. As far as people saying, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true, I don't really care so much about the articles. I care about the probable cause, which is clear as day. And I cannot vouch for what's in these people's minds. Okay? I don't know if they honestly thought Rebecca was in labor and thought they could keep driving around with her until she had the baby, or she fought back and then they decided to attack her. I don't know. They researched, I say they, who knows who uses each other's phones? Because that piece of shit, Kimmy, who I hope gets caught real quick, she's been in possession of phones. I really wouldn't doubt if Courtney wasn't told that it's not Brad's baby. None of this will surprise me, because the probable cause is the tip of the iceberg. And when all the other nasties come out, it's going to look like some sort of white trash Days of Our Lives. They're all sleeping with each other. You got sex predators in the family. And if you're an RSO, you're on the top of the mountain, dude. You got a badge of honor.
Lie down in the woods while she was still alive and cut the baby out of her, supposedly because she wanted it for herself, which obviously raises the question of why she didn't keep it unless it didn't survive. But the only murder charge that was filed so far is for Rebecca's murder, not the infant's. And if that is not enough to make your head spin about all of this, because it's so hard to understand what's happening, there is another affidavit we need to talk about. This one for Rebecca's sister, Kimberly Park. Again, all in the family. She has been charged.
Thank you, Jesse. All in the family. Let me tell you what. Kimberly Park, Kimmy, She hates Rebecca for a lot of reasons. Rebecca's prettier. Rebecca had children first. And Rich Fowler picked Rebecca over Kimberly. Or he left Kimberly for her. Who would know? Or left Courtney for Rebecca, then left Kimberly for Rebecca. I mean, who knows?
With lying to police and obstruction, and now we know why. 3 days before Rebecca was found, Kimberly allegedly told police that Courtney and Brad killed her, both of them. She said they hit Rebecca so hard on the head that she had a seizure and died, so they had her carted away. 3 days later, Kimberly had a different story. She told police that her dead sister's fiance, a guy named Richard Fowler, confessed that he killed Rebecca. Fowler's facing charges now too, but on drugs, not murder. I want you to get this. Before he was in...
Okay, let's listen to that again, and let me put the map up. In the left upper corner, that's Richard, Rebecca's fiance. Okay, now you're not going to see in parentheses, I didn't make this, by the way. This came from a news article. You're not going to see that he is Rebecca's son's father, the one that she was pregnant with. I am not going to say yay or nay because I'm not taking any of their words for anything. Okay, in the middle, you have Rebecca Park. Now on Facebook, she goes by Rebecca Fowler because she and Rich were engaged somehow. All right, so on the right hand of your screen, you have Courtney Bartholomew, who is Rebecca's biological mother. Okay, when Rebecca was a little girl, a baby, she was adopted by another family. We'll talk about that in a second. Below Courtney is Brad, who some would call Rebecca's stepfather, I guess in name only. And he's also charged with her murder. Then underneath Rich, you have someone that should be ground into fucking dog food, but I love dogs too much, and that's Kimberly Park. Not only was she off and on again with Rich, and I think she still is, and another guy, what a looker, what a lucky lady, she hated her sister. Hated her. And this is not her adopted sister. This is her sister.
Engaged to Rebecca, Fowler dated Kimberly, her sister, as well as Courtney, her birth mom. I want you to process all that for a second. Now, Courtney was out of the picture for most of Rebecca's life. The two had just reconnected a few years back. And as for Kimberly, the same day that she accused Courtney and Bradley, she also spoke on a podcast that is hosted by a friend of ours. It's called Steph's Case Files. And Steph is Stephanie Pratt. And here's a bit of what Kimberly told her on November 22nd.
Courtney told me if I say absolutely anything, me and my daughter are both going down for it. She said it to my face.
Okay, let's listen to that again. Courtney needs to go down for this too. Not Courtney, I'm sorry, Kimberly.
She also spoke on a podcast that is hosted by a friend of ours. It's called Steph's Case Files. And Steph is Stephanie Pratt. And here's a bit of what Kimberly told her on November 22nd.
Courtney told me if I say absolutely anything, me and my daughter are both going down for it.
Okay. Here we go. Listen again.
It's called Steph's Case Files. And Steph is Stephanie Pratt. And here's a bit of what Kimberly told her on November 22nd.
Courtney told me if I say absolutely anything, me and my daughter are both going down for it. She said it to my face. She said it the day after my sister disappeared when I came out there.
It's hard to make sense of any of this, but I want to bring on Stephanie Pratt right now. Joins me now live. Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on. I'm hopefully you can sort this out. I want to start with Courtney and Bradley playing the blame game. The police, telling police the other killed Rebecca, threw away her baby. Can you tell us more about what you know about their statements to police?
Yes, they seem to be playing, just as you said, the blame game. When they questioned Courtney Bartholomew, she stated Brad was the one who hid in the truck, and she was then to get Rebecca to get in the truck. They got in the truck. Courtney says they're just riding along, and then he just starts taking out the knife. And according to her, he was stabbing her 4 to 5 times in both the chest and the back. But then when they brought Brad in, he switched it on Courtney and said she was the one that was swinging the knife as he was stopping the truck to get out of the truck because the knife was still swinging and he didn't know what was going on. So each of the
Jinbug, exactly. Then why didn't you go to the police, Kimmy? And how did you see your daughter when you don't have custody of her? And I don't mean in your possession, Kimmy. I mean physical custody, as to where you're not supposed to see your daughter. A lot of the stuff that Kimmy has said on TikTok, the investigators already know yes or didn't happen, or repeated on Facebook, or repeated on Twitter, or that whole Snapchat group, which is crazy. Nephilim, are they a cult? No. I would just call them, what would you call them? I mean, they're certainly not spiritual or religious. They're just kind of like their own cult of depravity. They're like a ring of each other. It's disgusting. They really are disgusting.
don't blame each other. But really what police have to do is overlap their stories to figure out what is correct. They both were there. They both were involved. They both handled some sort of weapon. And I think that's going to be the underlying case.
That's a really good point, because right now they believe that they are responsible, not Richard Fowler, for the death. And this idea, I'm still confused. This idea that Courtney lured her out, well, stabbed her, made her lie down, took the baby out, I guess because I'm trying to understand what the motive would have been for that, whether it was to get the baby or there was tension. I don't really quite understand. And then why would Bradley want to kill Rebecca? What would be the motives here for both of them to do this?
I'm going to let you guys answer before Steph Case Files gives her opinion, or Jesse. What would be their motive? Would it be Courtney's maternal instinct because she just really wanted her own child? She's got a 14-year-old at home. She's got tons of kids around her. She knows Rebecca's 2 children. She knows Kimmy's child, even though she doesn't see them regularly. She has access to children if she just wants to be a grandma. So what is it? Who was spurning this on? Need a child, need a child, need a child. And for why? And for why? Then we have the question, which law enforcement will figure out, who removed the baby? Where did the baby go? Where? Rebecca probably has enough evidence on her body to suggest to a medical examiner that there's no way a baby could have survived this. Like, you would have to be a really good doctor to get breath into those lungs. However, the whole put the baby in the cooler, cooler got thrown away, cooler got buried, all the crazy stuff. I don't know if they're going to find the cooler or not. There's a really good chance of that. But I'm telling you, these people are scumbags. Scumbags. Jinbug said because Brady is a little B and does whatever Courtney tells him. Probably because the big B is doing horrible things to him. All of these kids have been abused. I have never, ever, ever watched a 60 Minutes episode where a pedophile has been cured. I have never, ever, ever once watched a Dateline NBC where we have a miracle story. This person used to be a pedophile, now they're not. Never seen a Dr. Phil episode where it says this pedophile is just fine. And there's so many around them. And Courtney is a perv too. She knows what these people are about, and don't think for a minute she is going to be okay keeping her mouth shut, because her okay is telling everybody what to do, and she is absolutely fine with these nasty people around her, because she's one of them.
Well, we know by Bradley's own testimony that him and Rebecca did not get along, so that would be one motive for him. But in speaking and interviewing Courtney Bartholomew myself, she told me directly that she had plans to move to Texas. And I said, why Texas? That's so far away. She said, well, Brad went there for work one time. He liked it. I like it. We want to move there. We want to have a baby together. My son wants to have a sibling. In fact, in the affidavit, you'll note that she talked about a NICU baby that was hers, that was born early, to a friend, stating that the baby was having trouble breathing. So when you put all of this together, I believe the motive was to have a baby that she had already named and had stated in the affidavit that she was mad at Rebecca for killing.
And I just want to circle back on this idea of, if this is all true.
She was mad at Rebecca for what? Hang on.
Had stated in the affidavit that she was mad at Rebecca for killing.
Mad at Rebecca for killing? Hold on. Mad at Rebecca for killing? Or is she talking about Rich Fallon? Maybe it's her accent coming through.
Motive was to have a baby that she had already named and had stated in the affidavit that she was mad at Rebecca for killing.
And I just want to circle back on this idea of, if this
Killing? What did Rebecca kill? Okay.
is all true, and Rebecca Park endured all this, stabbed and had the baby ripped out of her and died, that is just unimaginable. It is unimaginable. And you think about this unborn baby, because the affidavits get into that too, right? What happened to this unborn baby who still hasn't been found? What do the affidavits reveal that we didn't know before?
So Courtney, one thing that Courtney and Brad both have in common is they say that the baby is inside a blue cooler that was placed inside a trash bag. Now, who placed the baby in the cooler? Courtney says Brad. Brad says Courtney.
And they brought a trash bag with them? Now, if you're planning on delivering a baby, why would you have a trash bag? Come on. Wouldn't you have a blanket with you to wrap the baby up? I've given birth 3 times and nobody had a trash bag around me. Not one. Anyone here ever had a baby? And the doctor says, here you go. We got to get a trash bag to wrap your baby up in. So why do you have trash bags if you really, 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 really want to raise your own baby? Did you honestly think that nobody around you, Courtney, would notice that you're not pregnant, but Rebecca was? And yes, people knew Rebecca. Do you think that they're not going to notice that you're walking around with a baby as if she shops at the local grocery centers? I don't know. What was your plans with this baby? Seems to me y'all had a beef with Rebecca. If you really wanted the baby, you could have allowed Rebecca to give birth there and then again done the unthinkable. The unthinkable. Unless you were hoping to do the unthinkable to Rebecca and hope, considering what you attempted, to deliver the baby, and then all the RSOs, you're honestly growing up another child that no one cares about to be a horrible toy for Fabian, Brad, Rich, and whoever else. Whoever else. Their story does not add up. It does if you really want to think about it. Just get the motive out of your mind. Start with when Rebecca was found and move backward. Remember, they took a lot of time getting those truck seats out and everything. That cannot be an easy job according to the probable cause affidavit. Then you go to how long did it take to find Rebecca? Then you go to who was sleeping with who. Then you go to what were the arguments over? Were the arguments over $2,000? Who the baby's father is? Or who's sleeping with Rich?
And in the trash bag. And then the baby was taken to a dumpster down the road at a house just north of them. And so I'm hoping that authorities are going to try to trace that to a landfill where the baby might be. Who put the baby in the cooler? That's a good question. They both say each other. And the most shocking part of this is Courtney took that baby home, even though the baby had already passed away, and took it to her bedroom and tried CPR for an additional 15 minutes before they decided to discard of the baby boy.
Oh my gosh. And I'll say, look, recovering the baby is not only important from a human point of view and an emotional point of view and a justice point of view, but from a forensic point of view, can obviously say a lot. Real quick, Rebecca's sister, Kimberly, telling police that, okay, it was Courtney and Bradley were the killers, then saying it was Richard Fowler who confessed to the murder. What did Kim tell you directly about that with Richard?
Well, we know by the affidavit that Kim started telling this story before Rebecca's body was found, trying to paint this narrative and timeline for police, going in there on November the 5th and telling police that Rich was after Rebecca, that Rebecca was trying to get away from him and that he was angry and that he could have been the one to do it. Now, what we also see in the affidavit is Kim was approached with the fact that cadaver dogs hid in her bedroom. She explained that away to authorities as the fact that her and Rich are having an affair and that there was bodily fluids inside the bedroom, and that's what the dogs hid on. So now we have an affair between Kimberly Park and Rich, who is engaged to Kimberly's sister, Rebecca, who used to date their mom, Courtney.
Oh my gosh. It's it's hard to make sense of that. I mean, my gosh, the different people that are involved in all this, the connections, the allegations, trying to make sense of it, very, very tough. Stephanie Pratt, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
What do you all think the motive is? Is it the $2,000 that was owed to Rebecca, supposedly? Was it they really wanted the baby? Was it some sort of jealousy? And they all have to have separate ones. Because you've got Kimmy, who's involved, Rich, who's involved. They already knew that Rich was up to his ears in drugs and an RSO not checking in. It's all over his court record. Kimmy's a piece of shit too. Why would they want a baby so bad? And why did Courtney on the court record say that she was really mad about Rebecca with Rich? Then why wasn't she mad about Courtney with Rich? Okay, this is what the prosecutor said in the beginning.
Premeditated torture and murder. These two individuals, again, this is a case of premeditated torture and murder. These two individuals created a plan, conducted research. Ms. Bartholomew brought Rebecca to their home. They forced her into another vehicle and took her into the woods, where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out, and ultimately caused her death and the death of the baby. They then left Rebecca in the woods. This is, frankly, evil personified, and I would ask the court.
This frankly didn't happen. This frankly didn't happen because she had recently been moved into the woods because searchers saw the drag marks. And now remember, this is just the initial statement. All the evidence is not in. Okay? Listen to her again.
Again, this is a case of premeditated torture and murder. These two individuals created a plan, conducted research. Ms. Bartholomew brought Rebecca to their home. They forced her into another vehicle and took her into the woods, where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out, and ultimately caused her death and the death of the baby. They then left Rebecca in the woods. This is, frankly, evil personified, and I would ask the court to hold her without again, this is a case of.
Kat said the biggest thing that doesn't make sense to me is if they had waited a few hours more, Rebecca could have given birth naturally and the baby had survived. So little chance the baby would live. And then if they really wanted to get rid of Rebecca, they could have done it and still have the baby. And nobody would really be missing the baby. Nobody would be missing Rebecca. I'm getting this from all of their patterns. But Courtney picks up Rebecca which how Courtney drives, I will never know because she has one leg. And then from there, Rebecca gets stabbed and her baby taken out. And then you also have basically every RSO in the county friends with Courtney, who is a real nasty bitch. Now, if you want to believe Kimmy, here we go. But first, this is the statement that the adoptive mom said to M Live, on December 7th. Stephanie Park became a foster parent in 2004, and within 24 hours, she welcomed 3 siblings into her home. A 4-year-old boy, who is Rebecca's older brother, a severely underweight 1-year-old girl named Rebecca, which would be a murder victim, and a malnourished newborn, Kimberly, who I think is a big part of this murder, if not the one that did it or helped cut the baby out. Stephanie and her husband, Ron, later became the children's permanent guardians, taking every legal step possible to keep them safe from their biological mother, then known as Courtney. Is everyone following me? Everyone here? As Stephanie has said, kids who are adopted want to know if that person out there has changed. I don't know what adoptive person talks about their biological parent until they're told. See, these things don't make sense to me. I went to school with a few children that were adopted, and they did not know until they were later on in life. Okay? And it just wasn't something that they kept asking about if their biological parents have changed. For all they know, they could have been told they died or they don't care. But Stephanie says that her adopted children had big thoughts in their mind or questions. Has Courtney changed? She never mentions their biological fathers. It's Courtney. All right, Stephanie says as soon as the girls became adults, Courtney re-entered their lives. Stephanie feared it would only be a matter of time before something went terribly wrong. Now we get to present day, and we know it's not good. And I'm not a grandma yet. If I knew that any grandchild of mine, obviously my children wouldn't have this problem, but any grandchildren of mine, not saying it would happen, were in any presence of an RSO, I'd be there myself to get them out. I'd be there with the police. I'd be calling DHS. I would be filing police reports saying, I know my kids are somewhere, to people I have warned my daughter about. Adopted or not, still her daughter. Now let's get to grimy ass Kimberly.
Burns.
Do you make a common occurrence of taking random guys out to dinner when you're with an old man?
No, you're bringing my old man back food too. He gave me money to go get Burger King.
Christy could act strange for weeks. We spent all the time together. She was always online.
These couches is in the new. Excuse me if I'm losing my words here. Why
Also-
is the couch torn up? Are you? It looks like part of it's been cut out as to get rid of the material.
Yes, ma'am. They stated to me that the dogs tore the furniture up. Well, I'm well aware of what a dog can do to a couch, and it would not be an organized straight line cut.
No dog I've ever seen do that one.
Bounty Hunter, didn't you find it funny, like sort of like a page straight out of the book, that the seat of their beloved truck that they keep under a tarp, so much so that they wouldn't keep a can of paint in it, but now the front seat material is gone because somebody vandalized and put paint all inside of their truck. You believe that?
Do you mean the same truck that I have Rich on recording stated that picked up Rebecca the night that she disappeared?
Yes, sir.
Yet the initial reports is the person that picked Rebecca up was Rich. Make it make sense. Probable cause affidavit says it's Courtney.
I find that very
And the right for Americans to protect their land. He come all the way out to the end of his driveway. I saw you the video that somebody took me of people simply wanting to do a search, and he was yelling at them, obscenities to them in front of their own kids. But when somebody goes and pours paint in the beloved white truck with the red top, no videos made, no mean words are said, no police are called, no police report is made. Oh, Brad is quiet as a sweet old teddy bear. Now, why are you so pissed over people searching, but you're not really that mad over your truck?
You know, real quick, how often are the dogs inside?
Can you hear me?
It's in the kennel.
Hang on, Mel.
Just one moment.
How often are the dogs inside, Kim?
Uggy's usually always in his kennel, and Demon's just usually roaming around.
And how many dogs do you guys have out there? And can you disclose their breed, please?
They're
Okay, I'm not fighting with police work because a probable cause affidavit is just enough to put people behind bars with charges and with a high ass, hopefully, bail set, not bond. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Now, Kimmy, who should have never been around Courtney before, and she's been around Courtney way before the age of 18, way before. I can prove it, but I don't want to rub any more salt into Stephanie's wound as long as she's taking care of the grandchildren that I guarantee have been afflicted by all of this in one way or another. Kimmy says Rich, but remember, she's pissed off at Rich, even though they're possibly back together because of Rebecca and Courtney. Okay? Courtney originally said Kimmy did it. That makes more sense to me in conjunction with Brad. And I'm not handicap shaming. I'm saying because physically it makes more sense.
There's three of them. You've got a cane corso, boxer pity mix, and then another boxer. No, Brad's like a carpet or something. Could go Great Dane.
So I'm sure we can both agree they're pretty big dogs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the area that the dogs are kept in during the day in the exterior of the home, what is that terrain like? Is it sand, dirt, grass, cement?
Dirt.
Okay, so when those dogs come in the house, would they typically track dirt into that house?
Yes.
So can you explain to me why there was a brand new carpet, almost like it was cut to a square on the middle of the living room floor that looked like it was brand new with no dirt?
That one I can't explain.
It's kind of weird. New couches, new.
How can she not explain? How can she not explain? This is obviously new, half-ass, white trash, ghetto carpentry work. But Kimberly can't explain.
Carpet.
I know that carpet and that couch was there when Becca and I did that dinner.
Oh.
But they weren't in the same spot.
Meet Blue Bear. I've been in contact with her since day one of this search. We have solid proof that what you just told us is a lie.
Absolutely, sure do. Pictures of the inside of the house. The carpet, the door has been totally ripped up out of that house. Got pictures just days before Becca went missing with the carpet in the house. The furniture has been replaced and all the furniture moved. So where's the carpet?
And also, and where is the baby bouncer that was there the day that Becca Becca disappeared? Sorry.
I have no idea.
It was sitting right there on top of the snake cage.
A snake cage. If anyone is local, can you answer this for me? Because some states, no matter the breed of snake, are considered exotic animals and felons can't have them. Now, I will bet you $1 to a donut right now, if you're on the RSO list and they know plenty of those people in that fraternity, then they cannot have a snake. There's no reason to have a snake cage without a snake in it, or as one time had a snake in it. I'm just racking up the felonies and racking up the felonies. I'm never going to buy that Courtney just wanted a child of her own. Hell no. Especially if her 14-year-old son was such a baby to her. And the officers, correctional, probation, parole, whoever's checking on Brad and all the RSOs, didn't do anywhere near a good job. Kids can't be by pedophiles at all. Period. Hence why local police departments go by weeks in advance before Halloween and say, don't even think about giving out candy because we're patrolling the neighborhoods and we certainly don't want to patrol you.
Disappeared, sorry.
I have no idea.
It was sitting right there on top of the snake cage.
But I don't know where it went.
So you didn't deny that it was there. Thank you.
No, it was there.
Man.
I remember seeing it there, but where it went now, I have no idea.
This is where I'm going to recommend you assist either law enforcement or my team, which is not affiliated with any form of law enforcement at all. We are just volunteers in this case, with locating Becca.
I'm 100% willing to cooperate.
When are
Now?
we going to meet up?
Yes.
Let's meet tomorrow at Meyer. Let's meet tomorrow at Meyer.
Well,
Hey. I was just wanting to know your thoughts. Any other thoughts? You said you had photos and whatnot.
I do. I absolutely do. And thank God I saved them to my phone because when talking to Bounty Hunter, we had a discussion and I said, wait a minute, let me go back through my photos because it didn't make sense. So I confirmed with my daughter, who actually was in that house probably about, wasn't too long. I confirmed the carpet in there. Well, then I decided to go back through pictures before people started shutting down Facebooks and things. And I'm like, wow, this is convenient. It was there. And then literally just a couple days after Becca goes missing, where does it go? Where does it go? You know, why all of a sudden do you need to rip the carpet up out of your house? And I want Becca. This is going on. Spinning people and, you know, trying to get people to believe it's ridiculous. Everybody that here has one goal, and one goal is to get to the truth and find out where Beck is. All we want, stop the lies. Just stop it. There's no sense in it. Everybody knows something happened, something that wasn't good happened. Tell the truth. You know, everybody thought Mel took off, you know. Mel backed out. Nope. Mel was still here all along doing what he had to do to find Becca.
There is times.
Jinbug said, new paint, new carpet, new furniture. Can't tell me it didn't happen in that house. All the squares cut out, all the stuff that they had never thought to do years before happens to happen around a time that Rebecca goes missing and her baby. Then you have all the material pulled off of the truck seats. How they did that, I will never know. The way in the PCA, Courtney tried to explain all the blood in the truck. She said, because the knife was in there. That knife is not a sponge, home skillet. Come on. You could have wiped that knife off on your jeans, if that's what you're saying. No way that amount of blood was in that truck by a knife. And I'll tell you what, Kimmy, the only reason you're playing so cool is because you are about to either get an Alfred plea to where you don't admit guilt, but you accept something, or you admit guilt, but you don't hold the state responsible for charging you illegally. That's up between you and your attorney. You can point fingers all you want. Somehow, girl, you're involved. Big time. And I have a feeling just about as much as Courtney.
Where Mel and I and another person on my team We literally spend on average 8 to 10 hours a day on the phone, piecing everything together. She's being a guide person. She's helping us in any way possible, making phone calls from her location, trying to get us dogs and boats. She's helping in every way she can.
Bounty, are you familiar with Steve from SF Investigates?
No, ma'am.
He is a famous private investigator. He has handled many high-profile cases. One of the cases he's handling right now is the unaliving of Celeste Hernandez, who was an underage girl believed to have been dating the singer David. I texted him today, and I said, I need you to take a look at.
I have texted, messaged SF Investigates a million times. And he always says he's going to look into something. He may not, but he's basically going to give you an answer based on an article. The case that I was always after him about, considering at the time he was in the area, was Michael Vaughn. I thought he could maybe talk to people around, the time frame, something like that. And he just put, okay. And then he sent me an article based on the disappearance of Michael Vaughn. Okay, so whatever girl here thinks she's going to get out of SF Investigates, enjoy. Okay, just enjoy that one. And I want to hear from Kimmy. Okay, I really do. I don't care how much she spews, how much she lies. She is not fooling me at all. She has known Courtney for years. Rebecca has known Courtney for years. And don't think for a second Courtney's fooling me. That she just had to have a baby because she loves babies. I do believe all the other people around that have said she was always obsessed with children. Well, why? Why? Why would Courtney be obsessed with children? Would it be, let's see, her choice of hubby, Brad? Rich? Rebecca's father, Fabian? Don't get me going on that other dude that is possibly Kimmy's dad. Holy hell. He served some real time for sexual torture of a 4-year-old.
Where this phone ended up. And I want to know if you can tell me how it got there. And he said, text me tonight. So Kimberly, I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna tell you again, and he's gonna tell you again. If
she said SF Investigates says, text me tonight. Text me tonight. Wow. I've been told that before too. Never text SF Investigates after 8 p.m. Okay? You'll get another Jim Terry on the phone. Yeah, don't do it.
you know anything before I bring in a world-renowned private investigator to find everywhere that phone was that night. If you know anything, tonight is the day and night to call police.
Just kind of being a stuck-up little witch and won't give me my shit.
Who?
She got my wallet and everything, including my meds.
Who? Your mom?
Courtney. Yeah.
That should show you right there. She don't care about you.
When did this happen? Tonight?
It's really happening right now because I wouldn't stand up for her in Chef's Live. Why should I?
What?
But she's got my seizure medication.
There is a picture of a woman holding a brand new baby in Chef's Live. Do you want to disclose some information on that picture?
Okay, this will be interesting. So Courtney, who is her biological mom that supposedly she just became reacquainted with, okay? I don't believe that for a minute. She has her seizure medication. Kimberly does not have seizures. You know how I know that? Because she has a valid driver's license. It's not a CDL, it's a driver's license. If let's say DT driver goes to the hospital with seizures to a point that he has to have medication to control seizures, guess what goes to the local DMV? It is called they'll cancel your license. Now, if you're having those type of seizures, Kimberly would have been caught a long time ago. How does she have a valid driver's license if she has to take medication for seizures? And why would the adoptive mother, why would the bio mother that she just recently reconnected with have her medication? Super duper.
When did this happen? Tonight?
It's really happening right now because I wouldn't stand up for her in Chef's Live. Why should I?
What?
But she's got my seizure medication.
There is a picture of a woman holding a brand new baby in Chef's Live. Do you want to disclose some information on that picture?
That is my nephew, Gus. I can send you the original picture. I have this.
Okay, who is the person holding your baby?
My sister.
Your sister, Becca?
Yes.
How recent was that picture?
Over 3 years ago.
Okay, we just wanted to make sure.
We have 277,000 likes. We'll see if we can make 300K. We have 1.7 thousand people in this room right now. If you can please give Bounty a follow, I would appreciate that. He has a private account. Maybe he don't want all the follows, but last night and said, I think I have something here. Can you please come out? And they said, no. If I ever
Not
come
until
out
the body is found. Imagine that.
and they tell me thing though, listen, it needs to be in a professional manner. I don't want people who are not experienced at not hiking through woods, who don't have a vehicle that can pull you through the terrain, people that's never been up in there before. Make sure you got your bear spray. Please stay safe, stay lit. I would prefer nobody go search at nighttime just because you could fall, break your neck. You could step on in 3 minutes. Agency to agency battle, but then I'm going to ask the panel to come back up as soon as it's over, and we will be continuing with this conversation.
As soon as we get off this live, I'll take my account off private for a couple days so people can reach out to me.
yeah, that'll be a good idea. And I appreciate you, what you do. You guys volunteer your time to go look for these folks, and that's amazing. When I talked to Steve this morning, he said, I'm searching. I'm searching right now in the mountains in Nevada, and think about how much that takes to go out searching all the time and putting themselves
In Nevada. I don't know why he's in Nevada, but anyway, I'm assuming a different case. So this is where we stand right now. Okay. Courtney and Brad charged with murder, torture, and a million other things. Okay. Kimmy, I'm hoping gets caught real quick. This whole hiding evidence and lying to police should just be the tip of it. Okay. Rich, I don't know. I think he was probably a little too busy getting high and having sex with all these women and probably doing other things he's not supposed to do, considering he's an RSO around children. Well, the next bombshell should be coming out in a couple of days. And in this case, just please keep your chin up because there's a lot of stuff going on and really nothing can be proven except for what is so far in the probable cause. That's pretty much it. You guys are the best. And, honestly, let's go into Discord because privately, I would like to have a conversation about that, about something. All right, you guys are the best. Love ya.